The top stories tonight in Y News. After requiring eligible recipients to register online, the DSWD is now planning how to distribute cash aid to students who have no gadgets or access to the internet. Budget Secretary Amena Pangandaman called on lawmakers to give them a chance to address the issues hounding the agency amid calls for the abolition of the procurement service of the Department of Budget and Management. Motorists should brace themselves for a hefty increase in the price of gasoline next week. Chinese province plans to stop selling cars fueled by gasoline by the year 2023. Good evening, Philippines and the world. Today is Friday, the 26th of August, 2022. Join us in the next hour as we deliver today's top stories around the Philippines and in other parts of the world. I am William Theo. We are also seen in 1,935 satellite monitoring centers nationwide and via live streaming worldwide through the UNTV News and Rescue social media accounts. First in the news, in order to help the economy recover from the COVID-19 outbreak, President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. reaffirmed his commitment to supporting micro, small, and medium enterprises. President Marcos stated pandemic-proof strategies would allow MSMEs to move forward to a more resilient future. Nel Maribohok explains why.
Revitalizing the micro, small, and medium enterprises in the country is one of the top priorities of the Marcos administration. The government President Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos Jr. claimed is committed to assisting small businesses in recovering from the effects of the COVID-19 pandemic.
As your president, I assure you that the revitalization of our MSMEs is among the administration's top priorities. I reiterate the government's full commitment to work hand in hand with all stakeholders to make certain that MSMEs are protected and provided with ample opportunities.
President Marcos acknowledged the sector's crucial role in the nation's economic recovery during the MSME Summit 2022, which was held at the Manila Hotel.
Our MSMEs form part of the backbone of our economy, generating more than half of our employment. And this is why it is fully recognized that this sector's critical role in our country's economic regeneration, job creation, and poverty reduction is critical.
He added that the government would harness the strengths of various sectors to ensure a more cohesive government approach in creating a more sustainable environment for MSMEs and all stakeholders. The MSME Summit 2022 attended by PBBM was organized by Go Negosyo along with the United States Embassy in Manila and the Department of Trade and Industry in celebration of the National MSME Month. In the same event, U.S. Ambassador to the Philippines Mark A. Carlson stated that the U.S. supports the development of the nation's digital economy and urged more MSMEs to take part. Nel Maribohok, UNTV News and Rescue, we serve the people, we give glory to God.
According to an economist, the country's return to in-person education may boost the recovery of micro, small, and medium enterprises with less of an impact on employment. Janice Inhente explains why.
Even while the return of in-person classes would help the nation's economy recover faster, economist Professor Carlos Manapa says that while it has a smaller impact on employment, it can help improve businesses and local communities around the schools.
Madadagdagan ng employment pero hindi masyadong significant. Kasi konti lang naman yan eh. Siguro isipin natin na maraming mabibigyan ng trabaho starting from the school bus driver and operator, di ba? Tapos yung mga businesses na malapit sa schools.
Manapat added that at the moment, it is hard to say when the economic situation will be back to 100% or the pre-pandemic situation.
Mahirap ibalik yung dati. Siguro yun ang Yun ang ang pinakatanong doon, is it will it go back to the old landscape or what we used to have? Marami kasing mga negosyo na permanente na nagsara. So, hindi na makaka-recover yon.
As the new school year gets underway this week and students resume face-to-face instruction, tricycle drivers, vendors, and school services say their income is still sluggish.
Ang daily namin, ma'am, nasa mga 3 to 5,000 po. Ngayon, nasa 2,000, 1,500, mga ganun lang po. Kasi hindi pa sila totally full, kumbaga full na face-to-face pa talaga. Ang sabi ata, by November pa, nababalita namin, by November pa. Doon pa lang hindi po namin masasabi kung talagang kung lalakas po o hindi. Kasi sa ngayon po kasi, almost pa dalawang araw lang din ang pasok eh. Kaya hindi pa masabi eh.
Para sa akin, medyo ng konti, kaya lang konti lang, hindi yung talagang katulad dati na lahat ng klase. O hindi pa kasi, hindi pa normal ang klase. Hindi katulad dati, pagpasok ng umaga, lahat na. Ngayon, nahahati eh.
Kahit lumakas, parang kunti pa rin ang namin, nakikita.
Hindi pa kami nakakabalik eksakto 100%, pero marami nang nakabalik. Siguro mga sa out of 2,000, siguro mga kalahati nakabalik na ngayon sa school service. Limited pa lang yung school buses, dalawa-dalawa pa lang per operator. Yung iba ganun pa din.
But despite this, some people have established their own businesses and remained optimistic, which coincides with the beginning of in-person classes.
Nung June lang po kami nag-start, okay po kasi po pasukan na po, hindi po gaya po dati nung isang buwan, matumal po talaga. Hindi pa po siya naka 500, ganun po. Ngayon po na po, 3,000, ganun po. Karamihan po ngayon mga estudyante po, yung mabenta din po.
Sakto lang po na may school, hindi sayang naman, dadaan-daanan kami ng mga estudyante. Gumawa na rin kami ng tindahan. Ngayon okay naman kahit paano may nabebenta kami.
Janice Hente, UNTV, News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
Lawmakers in the House of Representatives have begun deliberations for the 2023 national budget. Eileen Cerudo has this report.
Hindi namin makita yung more and better kasi halimbawa po, magkano ba ang nakalaan para sa mga bagong classroom? Mapupunuan ba natin yung mga 91,000 classroom shortage na meron tayo? And magkano ba ang nakalaan para sa pabahay o housing para sa infra?
The proposed budget for 2023 amounts to 5.268 trillion pesos, a 4.9% increase compared to last year. During the budget deliberations, proper funding for more classrooms was raised. Gabriela Women's Party List Representative Arlene Brosas said 91,000 classrooms are needed to be built by the government. The proposed budget allocated to infrastructure is at 1.2 trillion pesos. The bulk of the funding is proposed to go to road networks with 429 billion pesos. There are also proposed allocated budget for flood control, development fund for local government units, and railway projects. 13.9 billion and 2.5 billion pesos are the proposed budget for school buildings and housing. Representative Brosas said there should be more funding for classrooms and housing.
Yung fund po na ito, why not aim for more funds for schools and public housing, more funds for the social services, or di kaya cash aid? Mas mararamdaman ito ng mga ordinaryong Pilipino, Madam Chair. Di po itong mga road networks.
However, Budget Secretary Amena Pangandaman said there is not enough budget for it.
Madam Chair, we don't have enough funds to provide for the backlog of the classrooms.
The lawmaker also asked about the 10 billion peso fund for the Barangay Development Program of the National Task Force to End Local Communist Armed Conflict or NTF-ELCA. According to DBM Undersecretary Tina Kanda, the list of barangays are not yet completed under the SED program.
So that's the reason why certain barangays, especially in the far-flung areas,
will not be able to submit these lists because it would require technical specifications. However, the barangays have submitted and we have already released a substantial amount of the NTF LCAC.
Meanwhile, House Deputy Speaker Isidro Yungab asked whether there is enough budget for insurance premiums of government assets in case of calamities. According to the Department of Finance, they are already conducting an inventory to determine how much is needed for the insurance of government assets. Eileen Cerudo, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people. We give glory to God.
Meanwhile, oil prices may go up in the coming week. Motorists need to prepare for another round of increase in oil prices. Diesel prices may increase by 5 pesos and 40 centavos to 5 pesos and 70 centavos, while gasoline prices may increase by 1 peso and 30 centavos to 1 peso and 60 centavos per liter. According to the Energy Department, the fuel price increase is due to the movement of prices in the world market amid the increasing demand for fuel in the United States and Europe. There is still a supply shortage concern brought by the Ukraine-Russia conflict. In other news, the onslaught of Tropical Storm Florita has pushed up vegetable prices in Metro Manila. The Department of Agriculture, however, assures ample supply of vegetables in the market. Ray Pelayo will tell us why.
The Balintawak market has a sufficient supply of vegetables, but wholesalers have noticed how prices affects their sales, especially potatoes.
600 po. 600. Opo. Dati nasa ano lang po yan, nasa 400.
Other vendors, such as those selling carrots and tomatoes, charge a higher price. Vegetable prices in Mega Q Mart in Quezon City have hardly changed.
Okay naman sir yung gulay yan. Hindi naman siya tumaas. Yung presyo dati, yun pa rin. Kaya carrots lang sir, yun lang naman yung medyo mataas. 120 yung benta.
20. Dati po?
Yung ganun pa rin sir, pero hindi siya tumaas. Yun pa rin yung benta. Eh, medyo, yun yung iniilaga ng tao yung carrots. Medyo mataas kasi.
Consumers feel the high vegetable prices.
Binabudget na lang, pinagkakasya na lang lahat. Sa amin yung sili, kasi kailangan namin yung sa paninda eh. Tsaka yung sibuyas. Yan, gang kami masyadong nahirapan. Nagsisisig kami. Yun. Kaya nagtaasan talaga yung, lalo to sibuyas talaga kasi ito yung number 1 kailangan namin.
Mga seafood dito ako namimili. Kasi siyempre masisira pag dinala ko. Actually, mas mura pa rin yun yung sa Nueva. Pero ang binibili ko doon yung sibuyas, kamatis, mas mura doon kaysa dito.
Agriculture Undersecretary Domingo Panganiban stated that the department is prepared to provide farmers with priority seeds and fertilizers. Ray Pelayo, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people. We give glory to God.
Senator Marsha Blackburn, who serves on the Senate Committees for Commerce and Armed Services, was the third American dignitary to visit Taiwan this month. The Chinese government was unhappy with the visit. Beverly Saison will tell us why.
Amid high tensions with China, U.S. Senator Marsha Blackburn arrived in Taiwan on Thursday. Senator Blackburn is scheduled to meet with Taiwanese President Ing-wen to discuss trade and security relations between their two countries. The senator said in a statement that Taiwan is the U.S. strongest partner in the Indo-Pacific region. Regular high-level visits to Taipei are long-standing U.S. policy, and she will not be bullied by Communist China into turning her back on the island. Supporters of the visit say it is important to maintain the long-standing relations between Taiwan and the U.S. Critics say it creates unnecessary tension between the three nations. China claims Taiwan as its domestic territory even though they have an independent and democratic government. China sees the ongoing alliance between Taiwan and the U.S. as an act of undermining their claims over Taiwanese territories. In retaliation, China has conducted missile drills over Taiwan, particularly after U.S. House of Representatives Speaker Nancy Pelosi's visit at the start of the month. Beverly Saison, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people. We give glory to God.
A day after Ukraine's celebration of its 31st year of independence, 95 street names in Kyiv that were related to Russia have been replaced. This is in line with Ukraine's campaign called De-Russification, which aims to erase the hundreds of years of rule by Russia in the country. Kyiv's mayor Vitaly Klitschko wrote on a Telegram post that the names will be replaced in memory of significant historical events of Ukraine and the famous figures and heroes who fought for the country's independence. One of the streets was renamed London, and another was aptly named Ukrainian Rebirth Street, which echoed President Volodymyr Zelensky's statement that Ukraine had been reborn when Russia invaded the country. We'll share more global stories with you later, but for now, back to you, William.
Yes, thank you, Kath. The Secretary of the Department of Budget and Management said she will leave it up to the lawmakers if they decide to abolish the procurement service of the department. However, she appealed to give the department a chance to fix the PSDBM. Eileen Cerudo will tell us why.
Budget Secretary Amena Pangandaman said she has prepared programs on how to clean the process of the procurement service of the Department of Budget and Management. During the House Appropriation Committee hearing, she said that the PSDBM had a good track record from 2017 to 2019.
One of the benefits of the PSDBM is actually the savings that the government incurred during that time, which is worth 18 billion.
The PSDBM is currently facing issue amid the procurement of outdated laptops for the Department of Education in 2021. This spurred calls to abolish the procurement service from various lawmakers, including Senator Amy Marcos and the Makabayan Bloc. This week, the Senate Blue Ribbon Committee conducted an investigation of the purchase of outdated laptops. Secretary Pangandaman asked to give the DBM a chance to bring PSDBM back to its former glory.
If we give a chance to PSDBM, and if we clean the process and the system of the procurement in PSDBM, maybe we can go back to its old glory. We already have programs on how to fix PSDBM. So if I may po, if you'll be giving us a chance to at least clean PSDBM, we will highly be happy with that.
Eileen Cerudo, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people. We give glory to God.
Meanwhile, fisher folk and environmentalists will meet with the officials of the Department of Environment and Natural Resources, or DENR. This is to discuss the impact of the reclamation activities in Manila Bay that are said to be dangerous. Dante Amento has the story.
Pamalakaya, a fisher folk organization and the environmental group Kalikasan crowded the Department of Environment and Natural Resources, or DENR, this morning. They urged Secretary Maria Antonia Yulo Loizaga to ban the reclamation activities at the Manila Bay, including the Dolomite Sand Beach. The project is said to have destroyed the marine and coastal ecosystems and harmed the few remaining mangroves in the bay.
Malinaw na ang Dolomite Beach ay hindi rehabilitasyon. Ito rin ay bahagi ng reklamasyon. At ang nakakalungkot dito ay sisira ka ng karagatan at sisira ka ng kabundukan para doon sa Dolomite ay tinatambak yan.
They will return for another conversation with the DENR as a result.
Positive development naman to kasi dati naman parang at least sa pagkakaalam ko, ito yung parang ilan sa unang beses na humarap talaga yung DENR at nagpakita na willing sila tumugon dito sa mga hinaing ng mga mangingisda natin saka mga environmentalist natin.
Certain concerned groups will submit scientific data and evidence to demonstrate the harmful effects of the reclamation project.
Scientific assessment kung ano yung situation dun sa Manila Bay in particular. So yung mga hazards ng mga proyekto, yung mga impacts sa fisheries.
Additionally, Pamalakaya and Kalikasan requested that the DENR refrain from issuing environmental compliance certificates for any reclamation projects in Manila Bay. They said there was an existing mandamus or order from the Supreme Court for the continual preservation and rehabilitation of the area.
Kung sakali, plano namin na dumulog sa Korte Suprema para iapag yung aming mga legal basis na kung saan yung mga nilalabag ng mga company na mayroon dyan mga proyekto sa Manila Bay.
Dante Amento, UNTV, News and Rescue. We serve the people. We give glory to God.
A province in China, Hainan Island, plans to prohibit the sale of gasoline and diesel-powered cars, making it the first region in the country to do so. Jane Robles tells us why live. Good evening, Jane.
Good evening, Kath. In order to reduce carbon emissions that contribute to global warming and climate change, the Hainan Island in the south of China will be the first to prohibit the sale of cars powered by gasoline and diesel. On Monday, the Hainan provincial government stated in their carbon peak implementation plan that electric-powered vehicles will be promoted with tax breaks and with broadening the charging network. According to the plan, Hainan aims 45% of its vehicles to be electric by 2030. In addition, zero-emissions zones would be created in cities, prohibiting the use of fossil fuels-powered vehicles. The statement also comes as China battles its hottest, driest summer in decades, which has shivered crops and shrunk rivers and reservoirs needed for hydroelectric power generation. In addition to making China's smoggy cities cleaner, promoting electric vehicles will enable the ruling Communist Party an early advantage in a booming industry. China made up more than half of the world's electric vehicles sales last year. Back to you, Cass.
Thank you, Jane Robles, for that live report. Young children and babies will soon have protection from a severe winter virus, which infects over 6,000 children in Australia per year. Marvi Delfin will give us the details live. Marvi?
Kath, nirsevimab, an antibody treatment used against the respiratory syncytial virus, or RSV, is one of 9 treatments to pass the final clinical stage. Its use is expected to be approved within 12 months after researchers are yet to pass the nirsevimab to Australia's Therapeutic Goods Administration and Australian Technical Advisory Group on Immunisation. Peter Richmond, a pediatrician and professor from Perth's Telethon Kids Institute who was involved in the process, feels privileged as it could help save the lives of young children and babies from RSV. RSV is a severe virus which spreads during the winter in Australia and takes the lives of 100,000 people and infects over 3.6 million hospitalizations globally each year. And just this year alone in the state of New South Wales, 700 children per week in June were admitted to hospitals after developing bronchiolitis due to RSV. The nirsevimab rollout in Australia is expected to be before winter in 2024. Meanwhile, the United States and Europe have plans of licensing its use later this year or earlier next year. Back to you, Kath.
Thank you, Marvi Delfin, reporting live from Australia. And those are the reasons behind the news in other parts of the globe. I'm Kat Dumaraos, live from Bangkok, Thailand. Good evening.
A plan will be created by the Department of Social Welfare and Development to register indigent students in outlying areas without access to the internet. Meanwhile, teachers groups cried foul over Social Welfare Secretary Erwin Tulfo's comment that educators might show favoritism if assigned to distribute the government's cash assistance for students. JP Nunez explains why.
The Department of Social Welfare and Development, or DSWD, will strictly implement the no walk-in policy for the schedule of educational cash assistance payout this Saturday. Those requesting cash aid should have pre-registered via the online system. DSWD does, however, consider those geographically disadvantaged areas where students do not have access to the internet. DSWD field offices are tasked to develop a plan to register students in remote areas, according to Social Welfare Assistant Secretary Irene Dumlao.
They can develop or devise strategies on how we can register itong pong mga individual na wala pong smartphones o wala pong internet connection sa kanilang lugar.
Due to the constraints, DSWD may not implement the plan on Saturday. The department said it could take up to 2 weeks to register qualified students without internet access. The educational cash assistance budget has now been increased to 1.5 billion pesos, and it is anticipated to benefit between 375,000 and 400,000 indigenous students. Meanwhile, DSWD defends Secretary Erwin Tulfo's earlier claim that school teachers shouldn't be trusted with the cash distribution because they could favor other students. The statement, according to ASEC Romel Lopez, was taken out of context.
The secretary was taken out of context po dun sa kanyang pahayag na yon. Ang nais lang naman pong sabihin ng ating mabuting kalihim, Secretary Erwin Tulfo, na ayaw na niya nakalad ka rin po sa karagdagang trabaho at kumbaga karagdagang workload yung atin po mga guro. Kaya po niya nasabi na gusto niya nang ilayo sana sila, huwag nang isama dito sa payout po para sa ating mga estudyante. Pero it doesn't mean naman po na may paratang siyang binibigay para sa ating mga kababayan na teacher about sa favoritism.
However, the Alliance of Concerned Teachers claims that it is not a simple mistake.
Hindi simpleng nagkamali yan, no? Hindi simpleng iniiwas kami, no? Mas tingnan nila ano ba yung trabaho ng guro, no? Na dapat ay nagtuturo, dapat ay hindi dapat sa ganyan, hindi gamitin, no? At dapat nga mas tulungan niya kami ng DSWD sa mga kabataan namin, no? Na kung saan ay nangihingi ng ayuda ngayon.
JP Nunez, UNTV, News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
Free rides will be available in Commonwealth until December. The Metropolitan Manila Development Authority, or MMDA, says it will increase the number of buses they use for the program. Asher Kadapan Jr. tells us why.
Public utility vehicle shortage amid influx of passengers has been a perennial challenge in Commonwealth Avenue in Quezon City. And as school reopens, this problem is expected to become more intense. To help the commuters, the Metropolitan Manila Development Authority expanded their free ride program.
Meron po tayong libreng sakay, simula ito nung May pa po. Nagdagdag po tayo ng 2 bus ngayon. So that is an additional of 50 ang capacity na isang bus. So additional of 100 po for every biyahe nila.
The route of the vehicles provided for the free ride is between Doña Carmen in Commonwealth Avenue and Welcome Rotunda in Quezon Avenue. The free ride runs from 6 a.m. to 11 a.m. and from 1 p.m. to 6 p.m. on weekdays. It is open to all passengers and is expected to benefit 500 to 600 passengers daily. With this, the MMDA find ways to extend the free ride program to help the public.
Sa ngayon po, wala pa po kaming planong ito itigil at amin po ito itutuloy. Sa gastos po ay pag-aaralan po natin hanggang maaari, hanggang December po ituloy po natin ito.
Asher Kadapan Jr., UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
Our kasangbahay, as the world faces these trying times amid the pandemic caused by coronavirus, we are inviting everyone to join the global prayer for humanity.
Good day. I'm Brother Eli Soriano of the members of the Church of God International. I want to invite you to join us in a minute of prayer every day to pray for humanity and the whole world as we go through these perilous times. While safety measures like washing of hands and strengthening of our immune systems may help us through this horrible predicament, there is still no precaution or cure more powerful than God's mighty intervention. And we need His intervention now more than ever. It doesn't matter what religion you are in or what denomination you belong. This is an invitation for all the people around the world who cares for the future of their family, friends, loved ones, and humanity as a whole. Everybody is welcome to pray with us. For more details, you can check out the description box below. Thank you very much, and I hope to hear from you soon. May God bless you.
And before we close, we will leave you with the word giving glory to God from the book of Proverbs chapter 3 verse 9. It says, "Honor the Lord with thy substance and with the first fruits of all thine increase." And those are the reasons behind the news, August 26, 2022. Reasons we deliver to you as they unfold. I am William Theo. Because we need to know, we will always ask why. We serve the people, we give glory to God.